So in this video, you're gonna know everything you need to know about cancer fatigue and how to overcome it with exercise. Now, I'm gonna start by saying the original video I created took 4 hours to edit, and then it got deleted. So you're gonna get the quick spark notes here, but you're gonna get everything you need to know about how to improve your health and how to exercise with cancer fatigue. Now, there's a couple things you need to know. The first thing is that whenever it comes to cancer fatigue, you wanna practice the 10-minute rule. The 10-minute rule is when you take 10 minutes to get started with your workout just to see how you feel. So you gotta set your mind to at least 10 minutes, even if that's 10 minutes out, 10 minutes back, right? You gotta overcome that mental battle and that mental just overwhelmingness of exercise, just for 10 minutes. After those 10 minutes, if you feel the same level of fatigue or you feel better, you continue to exercise for another 10 minutes. Now, if after 10 minutes you feel worse, stop, go rest, and try again later. But make sure you try again later, all right? With your fatigue, you wanna have 2 different types of exercise plans. Now, one for a hard day and one for a I don't feel like working out day. The hard day workout, that's where you're gonna do 5 to 7 exercises, and you wanna push yourself. You wanna make sure that you're really getting the most out of your workout, maybe be a little bit sore the next day. You wanna focus on at least 2 compound movements, which means just 2 exercises that work most of your body. After those 2 exercises, you can have more accessory movements. So compound, think of squats, hinge, pull, press, and a bench, for example. For accessory movements, think like a machine, think maybe cable rows, think of a bicep curl, smaller movement exercises. Now for your, whoa, hit my funny bone, ouch. For your fatigue days where I don't feel like working out, those you're going to have smaller movements, smaller exercises, and less exercises to do. So think 4 to 5 exercises max, maybe you could even do 3, and you want to do only 1 full body exercise. So think of a squat, hinge, pull, row, kind of like I mentioned earlier. Only 1 of those, and it's gonna be the very first exercise because you wanna get that exercise out of the way. You fought hard to make it to the workout, do the hardest one first, you know, eat the biggest frog first type thing, right? And then you're gonna have the easier exercises where you can do those laying down, you can do those on the ground, you can do those sitting down, whatever feels best for you in that moment, but there's nothing wrong doing those in bed. For example, you can do bicep curls, you can do leg raises, smaller exercises that don't require as much energy. Now, this is a one-take show, like I said, so it's live, right? With that being said, you also wanna make sure you can do some stretches afterward. You can take a break between exercises. You can rest up to a minute or 2 or 3 if you need to, as long as you can get the exercise done. The goal of the hard day exercises is to really push yourself and challenge yourself. The goal of the I don't want to work out today exercises, that is for just getting something done. So as long as you put a little check mark next to I did a workout today, that is a win. I'm the biggest cheerleader for my online coaching clients. As long as they do something, I will always be excited for them. And I want you to be your biggest cheerleader. So when you do something good, celebrate, be excited about that. Be happy for what your body could do that day. Now, don't have this pass or fail mentality. If you don't feel good after those 10 minutes and you cannot work out because you feel that bad, don't think I failed today because my body doesn't feel that good. That's not how that is. It's not pass or fail, right? You can always pick it up later. It's okay to not feel that good in the morning, but maybe in the evening or the afternoon, you try again and you get after it. Or maybe you don't feel good that day and you just get after it tomorrow. That's absolutely fine as well. Now, you also want to make sure that you are talking to your provider through this time. There's many reasons why cancer fatigue may affect you. So it could be depression, it could be anemia, it could be thyroid issues, it could be other medications. Make sure you're talking to your provider to know what it is that's causing that cancer fatigue. If it is anemia, you might not be able to exercise as hard. You might need to keep it at lighter intensity, but at least the provider is going to help you treat that anemia, and it's not going to be cancer fatigue. right? So make sure you are talking to your provider. Now, another thing that's going to be very helpful is that I have a free cancer fatigue guide in the description below. That's going to give you hydration tips, how much protein to eat. It's going to tell you what foods to focus on, because foods can also impact your cancer fatigue. It's going to tell you what exercises, and it also comes with an exercise plan to help you get started with exercise. Now, in that fatigue, you are going to get weekly tips. So there's a lot of benefits to that fatigue, to that guide, and in terms of overcoming your cancer fatigue. Because the reality is, it's not just a one-day thing. It's a learning how to overcome the fatigue. And that's a trial and error. That's about learning your body, seeing what works best for you. So you're going to have to, it's not a quick fix. It's not a one-day thing. It's a process and it's a journey. Doesn't mean you're going to have it for the rest of your life, but you do need to understand and learn your body to overcome it. Now, there's a couple things with cancer fatigue that's very important to understand, and that's progress. Progress is not always linear. Cancer fatigue accumulates over time with the amount of treatment that you've had. So if you went from chemotherapy to surgery to radiation, every step of treatment increases your fatigue. So be very mindful of that. It's not just chemotherapy. All forms of cancer treatment impact cancer fatigue, but it's also mental, physical, and emotional. So it could be mentally and emotionally draining that also increases your fatigue. So sometimes doing something as meditation, reading a book, journaling can also help lower your fatigue. Now, with exercise, especially if you exercise during treatment, it's going to level out that fatigue. So instead of constantly increasing, it's going to cause it to plateau. You're going to see two things. It's either going to plateau or it's actually going to decrease. Now, you might also notice that your energy increases even though your fatigue plateau. So if your energy increases, meaning you can do more in your day, but your fatigue doesn't increase or doesn't go up, that is a win. Be very, very excited about that, because now you might be able to spend more time with your daughter. You might be able to get more done at work. You might be able to get more done at the house. That is a win in and of itself, even if the fatigue doesn't go down. If your fatigue doesn't go up, that's also a win. A plateau in fatigue is a big win, because think about it. It's supposed to go up over time. So if you're not the norm, meaning that it's not normally going up, you are combating it and fighting that fatigue. Now, if your fatigue decreases and your energy increases, that's the best of both worlds. But because you're not having individualized attention, you might only get one or the other, or you might really need to work with somebody to help target both aspects of increasing energy and productivity, but also decreasing the fatigue. Because like I said, there's a lot of factors that play into fatigue, and your workout plan is just one of them. There's also nutrition, there's also sleep, there's also mental health and other mental aspects of it, emotional aspects of it, and exercise. Now, with my online coaching clients, what I do with them is that I do an assessment. I do a lifestyle assessment. I do a health history assessment. I do a movement assessment to make sure I know what's targeting and what's causing their fatigue, so that I can target their fatigue the best way possible. Right? Maybe through a lifestyle, making sure they're moving more, making sure they're hydrating better, they're getting enough protein in, they're eating enough carbs. I know you hear don't eat carbs. That's another story for another video. But getting enough carbs to make sure they have the energy to exercise throughout the day, so that way when they exercise, they get an extra boost to do the things that they want. You also want to track it, because tracking your fatigue is going to help you know how it's improving over time. And when you can see that, you're going to be more motivated to exercise. So what you might notice is, and this actually happened to an online coaching client of mine, where they were tracking their fatigue, and before every workout, they were about a 6 or 7 out of 10 scale. So 10 being they couldn't get out of bed, and 1 being it was very low. But over time, they started noticing that 6 or 7 over 10, out of 10, before their workout started to decrease over time. And now they're really excited, because not only was it decreasing from a 6 or 7 to maybe a 3 or a 4 after their workout, meaning that they had time to spend time with their daughter, they could get more done at work, they could spend more time with their husband, with their spouse, and that was motivating to them. But also they got to actually see how over the course of several months, it started to decrease over time. So that is extremely motivated and inspiring, not only for you, but for her. It was life-changing. It's a life-changing experience that actually improves your quality of life. So making sure you're tracking that over time is extremely important. Like I said, I do have the free fatigue in the caption, but if you have any questions on how to overcome cancer fatigue, definitely let me know. And with that, take care.